Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July 25th Lebanon City Council meeting. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, we call the roll, please.
Mike Kincaid.
Present.
Keith Campbell.
Here.
Morris Jones.
Here.
Dick Robertson.
Here. John
Copeland.
Here.
Brent Wheat.
Here.
Sierra Messenger.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, move on. Actually, we do not have any minutes this week. We'll get those later. So we'll move on to old business. There's nothing on my agenda for old business. Is there anything from the council?
Sure.
Okay, new business then. First item up, I don't see Joe here, so we'll go to item B first. This is Resolution 2022-19, Scott Barrett Contract Packaging LLC, request for real property and personal property tax abatement. We have Molly Whitehead with the Boone County Economic Development Corporation to present this to us.
Hi, good evening, Molly Whitehead, Boone, EDC. So here on behalf of Scott Barrett, Scott Barrett is a contract food manufacturer. They've been in the business park for quite some time. They have 2 facilities out there, and they're considering an expansion of one of their buildings at 401 South Enterprise, about a 340,000 square foot expansion. Scott Barrett employs about 337 people. They do anticipate some new job growth with this, but what we're really going to focus on and celebrate is the new investment in Lebanon, which is about a $58 million capital investment. So they are requesting, and we're recommending you consider the following schedule for real property, and please note that DP Realty Holdings is the building owner. We are recommending a 5-year real property tax abatement, estimated savings around $1.8 million for the company. And it would be years 1 and 2, 100%, years 3 and 4, 50%, year 5 at 25%. And then for personal property, and that would be for Scott Barrett, estimated savings around $435,000, years 1 through 3, a flat 100% tax abatement on that. And we're looking at a property tax levy around $4.2 million. We do have a couple of reps from Scott Barrett here that are willing to come address any questions that you may have, and of course I can answer anything as well.
Molly, are you aware if this is a new line of products they're adding or different specs they're doing? Like, do you know what exactly what's happening in the building or expansion of what's going on now?
We discussed this honestly, and I can't remember. So I'll bring the Scott Barrett team up.
Thanks.
Hi, good evening. I'm Craig Williams. I'm the finance director for Scott Barrett.
And I'm Sean Zapp. I'm the plant manager at Scott Barrett. First of all, I want to say thank you, Mayor, council members, for taking the time to consider us. We've been an active member of the community for the last decade, and our goal is to be an active member of the community for the decades to come. We are going to continue some of the same product mixes that we're running now, which is we make a lot of baby food, spouted pouch baby food. We are looking at some diversification into some different products. We don't have anything solid yet, but that is the plan, to try and diversify our portfolio as we go forward.
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions from council for Molly or for Scott Barrett?
No, sir.
Okay. Molly, anything you want to say to close, or anything you guys want to say to close?
I just want to say thank you. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Thank you. Rob, can you read the resolution, please?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Resolution 2022-19, again, is a resolution of this council concerning certain real property tax abatement deductions and personal property tax abatement deductions. Pursuant to Indiana Code, this council, acting in its capacity as the fiscal body of the city, has the right and opportunity to abate the payment of real and personal property taxes for real estate and personal property located within an area declared by the council to be an economic revitalization area. Pursuant to the act, the council may find that a particular area within the jurisdiction of the city is an economic revitalization area, and may, by adoption of a resolution, declare such area to be an economic revitalization area. This council adopted its Resolution 95-12 on October 23rd, 1995, and Resolution 07-07 on June 25th, 2007. These are defined as the declaratory resolutions. Pursuant to the act declaring the area whose boundaries are located within the corporate boundaries of the city, comprising 130 plus or minus acres within the Lebanon Business Park as an economic revitalization area, which property owners making application to the city pursuant to the act subsequently approved by this council pursuant to the act, and they may receive real property tax abatement and/or personal property tax abatement pursuant to applicable procedures of the act. Whereas this council, after following all applicable procedures of the act, took final action and adopted Resolution 95-13 on November 5th, 1995, and Resolution 07-07A on July 9th, 2007, confirming the declaratory resolutions, thereby establishing the area. Whereas Scott Barrett Contract Packaging LLC and DP Realty Holdings LLC are defined collectively as the applicant, has advised the council it intends to expand its distribution facility located in the area commonly known as 401 South Enterprise Boulevard, Lebanon, Indiana, that's defined as the real estate and described in Exhibits A and depicted in Exhibits B, which are both attached here. The applicant has submitted to this council a statement of benefits of real property, the Form SB1, and statement of benefits personal property, Form SB1, defined as PP, and collectively these are these statements and they're attached as Exhibit C. Whereas the applicant has advised the council that it proposes completing a significant investment involving the redevelopment and rehabilitation of the real estate to construct an approximate 340,000 square foot expansion of the current approximately 209,000 square foot facility located on the real estate, as well as the addition of 3 production lines within the existing building and the addition of 8 new production lines and 20,000 square foot of freezer and cooler space in the expanded facility that's defined collectively as the project. The applicant has requested the city approve a 5-year real property tax deduction schedule and a 3-year personal property tax deduction schedule. This council has reviewed the statements, whereas the improvement of the area will be a public utility and will be to the benefit and welfare of the citizens and taxpayers of the city. This council has considered the following factors under the act in connection with the project. Number 1, the total amount of the applicant's investment in real and personal property for the project. Number 2, the number of full-time equivalent jobs to be created by the project. Number 3, the average wage of the new employees for the project compared to the state minimum wage. Number 4, the infrastructure requirements for the applicant's investment in the project. Therefore, be it resolved, this council finds the proposed project will be located in the area which has been confirmed as an economic revitalization area pursuant to the act. Section 2 says, based upon the following information in the statements, the council makes the following findings. A, the estimate value of the applicant's project shown on the statements is reasonable. B, the estimate of the number of individuals who will be employed as a result of the proposed project can reasonably be expected to result from the proposed project. C, the estimate of the annual salaries of those individuals who will be employed can reasonably be expected to result from the proposed project. D, the benefits described in the statements can reasonably be expected to result from the proposed project. E, the totality of benefits from the proposed project is sufficient to justify the real property and personal property tax deduction schedules set forth herein. Section 3 states that all of the requirements for the tax deductions to be granted hereby have been met, and the foregoing findings are true, and all information required to be submitted has been submitted in the proper form. Number 4, the statements submitted by the applicant are approved. Section 5 details, and 6 details what Ms. Whitehead described, but I'll read those. The applicant is entitled to personal property tax deductions for the proposed addition of 11 new production lines in total, expansion of the existing facility by an additional 340,000 square feet and a 20,000 square foot freezer and cooler space as part of the project for a period of 3 years. And those personal property tax abatement schedules, again, are years 1, 2, and 3, 100% exempt from personal property taxes. Section 6, the applicant is entitled to real property tax deductions for the proposed redevelopment or rehabilitation of the real estate as part of the project for a period of 5 years in accordance with the schedule, again, as Ms. Whitehead discussed. Years 1 and 2, 100%, years 3 and 4, 50%, year 5, 25%. Section 7, pursuant to the act, a copy of this resolution shall be filed with the Boone County Assessor, and this resolution shall be in full force and effect immediately upon its adoption.
Thank you, Rob. Resolution's been read. Any discussions, comments from council?
No, sir.
Any public comment concerning Resolution 2022-19? Okay. Would entertain a motion for Resolution 2022-19.
Make a motion, we approve Resolution 2022-19.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Second from Morris, I believe. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Resolution 2022-19 is approved. Thank you, council. And thank you, Scott Barrett. I mean, part of this is, I think, hopefully an indication of our appreciation of your continued investment in Lebanon, and we appreciate the partnership you guys have had with us for going back some time and then hopefully going forward in the future as well, too. So appreciate your continued investment in Lebanon. So thank you. Okay. Reverting back to the original agenda here, next up will be Resolution 2022-18. Joe LePage.
Many apologies for my tardiness, ladies and gentlemen. You always are leaving a tennis court and you're hoping to not get stopped by a parent, and inevitably when you're rushing around, that's exactly what happens. And so we try to get out of our second session of tennis camp. It was, I think, 15 seconds?
Yeah,
I think Chief said 15 seconds. Thank you for hearing this agenda item, and thank you for taking it out of order. And again, apologies for my attire at this moment. As thrilling as it is to be able to work with our young people in an athletics kind of wave, being able to be in the past both a tennis coach and a basketball coach, it has been absolutely thrilling and inspiring to be able to work with and help to flesh out and celebrate our Lebanon creatives. You may know, and in our Board of Works communications reports have gotten up and talked about, we had our couple of different creative community call-outs, where we had asked members of the public, hey, we'd love for you to come out and celebrate being a creative, learning more about what it takes to be a creative, and how to inspire others within our community to be creative as well. We had not only 2 of those sessions, but we also had a celebration of those creatives. It was amazing and an educational moment for me to be able to see the amount of creativity that has not necessarily been under wraps, but not been celebrated within our community over the years. And so thrilled to be part of kind of, like I said, fleshing that out, bringing that to light. And so we had a celebration in our plaza where our creatives were able to come out and celebrate their creative gifts that they have. And so a couple of years ago, almost 3 actually, we looked for blank canvases around our community, and we found 5 that are railroad underpasses. And so we reached out to the folks at CSX and said, hey, we would like to add some improvement, what we felt was improvement towards 2 of these overpasses. And so as part of that, part of the community development money coming out of our Riverboat Casino line, went to look and have an engineer test the integrity of the overpasses to see if in the future would CSX accentuate or add any kind of enhancement to the overpasses that we were wanting to add some artwork to. And so the one on Lafayette Avenue did get some improvement, and the one on Camp Street is set to get another round of improvement. But those, along with two others within our community, will be, Lord willing, will be murals and be a celebration of creativity within our community. And so before you tonight, and reached out to my liaison, Councilman Kincaid, and so appreciate Mike being willing to chat about that. Would like to chat more about the second mural that we would like to put on one of those overpasses, and that one being on State Road 32 or South Street as you come into Lebanon or as you get ready to leave the community of Lebanon. Once again, we partner with Scott Trafford, a local artist, a local creative who owns his own artistic company, and Scotty is here with us to help answer questions. Put something on the monitor here to the side, folks, so we can, there we go, we can take a look at that. I went ahead and put both sides of the mural on one page for you, and there's a further explanation. So if you'll permit me, this, what you're looking at is phase one of this South Street, State Road 32 mural. And so if you're looking for some markers here, that sports bar is just right to the corner of your screen here on the image. As you can see, it says, "Welcome to Lebanon, Indiana." And over here on the left side, as you're beginning to enter into our community, we want to be able to roll out the welcome mat. And so Lebanon, the Cedars of Lebanon, biblically based, is where Lebanon got its name. And so a cross-section of a tree is right here, a cedar tree, in fact. And on the far side is the iconic courthouse. So those who are residents of Lebanon will know that how iconic and how wonderful that courthouse is, and visitors will, hopefully, it will pique their interest to see more of that as well. On the opposite side, again, giving you a further marker, Howard's Lawn and Garden is on that side, and I'll talk more about that portion of the mural in just a second, further on towards Howard's. But as you can see, a phrase that we have adopted wholeheartedly is "This is home." And so as you come into Lebanon, you're being welcomed to our community. As you are leaving Lebanon, you're reminded that whether you're Scott Barrett or whether you are a resident here, an employee at Scott Barrett, or you're going to work, it's a reminder that this is always home. And so you have a couple of famous faces within Lebanon. You can see Rick Mount here in kind of black and white, kind of a matted finish there, and also Mr. Midget Mel Kenyon with his car, the Indy 500. That's the one that says City of Lebanon on the side. And behind the home portion, Scott added kind of an inset, the roadmap of Lebanon. So as you're looking at home, you're seeing your hometown, those streets right behind the word home. And finally, on the far side is the cedar tree stamp dated 1832, as you may know, when Lebanon was founded. This is part one of the South Street State Road 32 mural. As you know, that there's kind of like I want to call it a tunnel of sorts, but an inset area. Listening to members of our creative community and also those who have reached out via Facebook, part two of this mural will be a train station of sorts. Right now, if you walk in that area, you'll see where squatters, what they have left behind. You'll see trash, you'll see some graffiti, and you will see pretty rough vegetation as well. Part two of this mural is to create either an urban park or an urban walkway, and you'll see a rustic train station. And so one of the questions I received from our city council was, what about the other famous faces? So there are several that we've fleshed out within Lebanon. The goal for part two of this mural is to create a train station and be able to have taking on the CSX moniker there, to be able to have those famous faces within Lebanon there up close and personal, so you can celebrate the Doug Joneses, the Sam Ralstons. You can look and see all the folks that are Lebanon legends, is what we call them, as part two of our mural. And so we would like to lay the foundation for this mural in part one with a request of an amount not to exceed $50,000 to help pay for this mural. A portion of that will also rent the scaffolding and the lifts that will be needed. A portion of that will also create more of an experience. As you may know, the mural on Lafayette Avenue, the Ocean Escape mural, we had a couple of different community creation days where you could come out and you could paint by number of sorts. be able to come out and put brush to canvas and be able to have take a vested interest in this mural. And so a portion of that money that is being requested tonight as part of this resolution would help pay for the ability to do that, to have art instruction, to be able to have members of the public as part of a date day, a date night, or something with the family, to be able to have you come out and be able to take a vested interest in your community, maybe uncover a talent that you never knew you had, all in the vein of improving quality of life within our community and a quality of place that will be what we hope to be a megaphone for other communities that come into Lebanon and also leave it knowing they're coming into Lebanon, Indiana. We're proud of our heritage, and as they leave, they know that this is home.
Joe, quick question. You mentioned, graffiti that we see sometimes under the bridges, things like that. Have we had any issues with defacing of any of our murals we've done or graffiti that we've had to deal with on places where we have done murals?
I'm going to knock on wood. There has not. There has not as of yet. Ocean Escape mural, you may have seen the before pictures before CSX coated it and before it was painted. It's been untouched so far. And again, that was a phase one. There's a phase two that comes with that mural as well. The Lebanon Youth Council mural has been untouched as well. That's along the Big Four Trail, also a CSX underpass. And under I-65, we partnered with Signworks, the large, the train that is on the Big Four Trail, also untouched. Conversely, the next mural that we have, the next canvas, if you go along Camp Street, is a true picture of ugliness. There are people that have a lot of extra time on their hands, and it has kept our street department, parks department busy, covering up anti-Semitic symbols, and that type of language have been the ways of thinking with our taggers in our community. And so the importance of creating and bringing a bright light in a dark space has never been more important. And so right now you can drive and see an upside-down cross that hasn't been covered up yet. Devil and four-letter words have been, thankfully, but it's spray paint on top of spray paint, so you can see what it said. And so I, for one, someone who lives on that side of town, would love to see it painted with something more colorful, more tasteful, and what we're hoping is that trend continues where those images aren't tagged, and folks that are coming to school, going to work, can walk a little bit maybe more upright, knowing that they don't have to look away real quick to see something that's going to lead to a conversation like I did with my kids.
Any other questions for Joe?
Comment. When people come to Lebanon and are thinking about moving here or working here, they drive around. And those of us that live here sometimes drive around and don't see stuff because we've seen it a million times. But those that don't live here, they see things in more detail, and these types of things really stick out to them. Like the 39 Bridge, like the paintings that we have and so forth, the little tigers around town, that type of thing. So I'm all for this type of work. So I would encourage the rest of the council to get on board with this. I know they have in the past.
Any additional questions, comments?
I just had a question. You have a couple famous people from Lebanon that's on the mural. Do we need permission from them, or they gave us permission to use their images and things like that? Is that something that?
It's out in the public, and so you can,
I'm just asking, I don't know the legalities of.
We have not, to be honest, but at the same time, we've used banners, for example, downtown. They are a part of public record. If you go on Google Images, and you can Google search, and it's, I remember when I worked in television, if it's out on the World Wide Web, it can be grabbed and it can be utilized. This isn't for monetary gain, and so it's not like we're going to be, shaking down someone to make any money off of Rick Mount or Mel or any of the other famous faces we're going to add. So not to my knowledge, I'm certainly happy to do it, but.
It was just a question if they were okay with us using their image on a bridge or something like that. That was.
We haven't heard anything from them. We've used it before. They've participated in our different documentaries that we've done as well.
If it's something that the council would like, certainly contact info is something I possess for both those gentlemen, and going forward that's not something that this is a tasteful deal. This isn't anything controversial, we feel, so.
The tunnel project, we'll call that, What, are we going to have to purchase land or access, or who owns that land going underneath there?
Well, as part of a gateway study was done by Riemann Schneider and Associates. They looked at Indianapolis Avenue, they also looked at State Road 32. The process never moved past stage one. We're hoping to be able to do that, but it would be an agreement of sorts to, none of the bridge cannot be touched, nothing can be affixed to it, I should say, so nothing would happen along those lines. But as far as cleaning up the brush, taking out the old third row of a vehicle seat that is in there right now, when I took the pictures last, those things, from my experience working with CSX as this project, as long as you don't affix anything to the overpasses, they are free for us to use. Now, putting a paved path, which is what we'd like to do eventually, to have kind of an urban park there, that will be part of a different discussion.
Okay, but that'll probably be extra cost, right?
Probably,
Okay.
What do you
Yeah,
imagine,
because
sir?
this 50,000 is only for these two murals, correct?
Yeah, for this first phase, and hopefully Councilman Kincaid pass along the proposal. It doesn't cover the entire cost, but it certainly does cover quite a bit of it. And so we paid for the design of the mural and the imaging of it. And so we're wanting to make a significant dent to be able to pay the rest of the community development bills for the rest of '22, and then kind of plan for the next phase for this mural.
Good, Sarah?
Question, what's the longevity like for the paint that's on the building? Obviously, I know paint chips over time, but do we know roughly what the longevity would be?
Looking at longevity, Scott, and I don't know if you can,
Yeah, longevity is a,
Hey, Scott, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Scott, there's-
Traffic
yeah, I
light,
was
can you
gonna
come
say-
up here for us? Yeah, thanks. They can't hear you shouting from the back, so.
you know, what kind of matters, your surface, right?
yeah, it's
Scott
two-part. So paint has a pretty long longevity, but as we saw with the Lafayette Bridge, CSX didn't do a great job of prepping the wall, so there is some hollow space between the original concrete and the plaster concrete they put on there that could chip off. My paint will be attached to that part that's chipped off, but this is a more solid concrete, smoother surface. You can do applications after paint is applied that like a polyurethane that can add an extra layer of coating from rain, but from what I've noticed watching the bridge and seeing water patterns on it, it does have a good majority of it covered. I've personally looked at the bridge and inspected it myself, and it's very clean and doesn't have a lot of chipping and a lot of wear, so that definitely helps with it. The paint I will use is all like exterior paint and has a high UV rating, so the sun beating on it won't fade it as fast as all paint happens, you know. It does fade eventually, but it could be at least 10 years from now, unless we decide to paint something different there, so.
Is there any kind of maintenance agreement, or once it's done, and his
Yeah,
part is ended?
that's been the deal with the other ones too. It's like, if there is maintenance, whether minor or major, I am more than willing to come in and do the touch-ups that are needed, you know, unless it's, like, we gotta just tear this whole section off and then repaint it from scratch, so.
Two quick points on that. First, the area, your question about the color. The thing I like about, one of the things I like most about what Scott has put together is people may look and maybe get the wrong impression about the mural and say that these are extremely vibrant colors and it's harsh, that type of thing. Scott, being a professional muralist, has kind of taken into account that these will fade based on the city's color suite. So if you look at our suite of colors the city uses in the logo, the blues, the golds, these will fade into that color suite. And so they may look a little bit bold now, but they're designed to fade a bit. And also, Brent, to your comment, it was great to be able to have Scott here local, being a local muralist, because with the Lafayette Avenue mural, there were some spots where they were starting to come out a little bit, and above and beyond what we had paid Scott, he wanted to do a good job for his hometown, did that at no cost to the city. And so looking forward to continuing that relationship with Scott, kind of taking all the feedback from our creatives and putting it onto a large wall space is pretty remarkable. I don't think I could do that, but happy with the final result that Scott came up with, along with the direction of our creatives. So.
Okay. Any additional comments or questions? There is a public hearing tonight too, so I'll have Rob read it, and then we'll open a public hearing, and we'll come back if you guys have any more questions, okay? So go ahead, Rob.
Yep.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Resolution 2022-18 is for an additional appropriation. It is the duty and responsibility of this council to maintain fiscal integrity of the finances of the city. At times, it becomes necessary to appropriate additional funds within the approved budget as contemplated and authorized by Indiana Code. Whereas it's been determined it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget. Whereas all additional appropriations require a public hearing pursuant to Indiana Code. Therefore, be it resolved, this Resolution 2022-18 is to be appropriated for a bridge mural. The following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of Fund 4437-Casino, and it's in the amount of $50,000.
Thank you, Rob. At this time, then, I'll open the public hearing on Resolution 2022-18. If you have any public comments, please step forward. Also state your name and address for the record. Okay. Seeing no sudden movements, I will close the public hearing on Resolution 2022-18. Any additional comments, discussion from council?
No, sir.
I'd like to make a comment.
Yep.
Just with what Mike said earlier, you know, I travel in a lot of different cities and communities. There probably is not a community I don't go in that doesn't have a mural somewhere. I'm actually watching one right now in this small community of Cambridge City just to see what it's going to look like when this guy's done, because he's been working on it for weeks now. And Cambridge City is a small town that has a lot on the buildings, really neat stuff. And so, you know, I like these things. I think they're neat. I think they're attractive. People look at them when they come in. It makes you remember that community, just like our sign out on 39. I know a lot of local people don't like that or whatever. I think it's a waste of money, but people I see and talk to, they remember Lebanon from that sign, you know. Same thing about the murals as they come through in and out of town. People are going to remember Lebanon about a mural they saw. This one being on the gateway coming into town is going to be a good location for something like this. So, you know, I just think we ought to think about trying to come up with different ideas of other things as well, so.
You, Dick?
I'll take the opposing viewpoint. I've made my feelings known that these are wants rather than needs, and we have needs. Having said that, I'm very conflicted because this is great marketing. I wish we had done this one out of the gate because I really like it from a marketing standpoint, but I think this program continues to grow, and personally, I've never had a single solitary person just off the cuff tell me, you know, this made a difference in their life or they moved here or anything like that. So I'm sure this will probably pass, but I just want to say in the future, we need to look for needs rather than wants. So I've said my piece.
Only final comment I'll make too on this. I do want to highlight that, again, this is coming out of the Casino Riverboat Fund, right? So this is not our general property tax dollars. If you don't go down to the boats down in French Lick or Casino in Evansville or up north, you know, you've not paid for this at all, right? So again, this is just revenue we get from the state of Indiana. I think we've done a good job of funding our needs from other revenue sources. And I think I appreciate the council's support. In the past, we've used this Casino Riverboat Fund for these, call them, you know, maybe a little more softer kind of projects to kind of create, instill some community pride. So I do think this is an appropriate use of that fund. Again, it's kind of falls in that community development page or community development realm. And I think it's continued investments in our community, smaller, kind of brightening things up, making things nicer. It may not have a direct impact, but I do think that there is a subconscious kind of just loving where you live, I think is an important value that we can have as a community. So that's what I would say to that. Any additional public comments or thoughts from council? Okay. This time then I would entertain a motion concerning Resolution 2022-18.
Make a motion we approve Resolution 2022-18.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution 2022-18 passes 6-1. Thank you, council. Okay, that concludes what I have for new business. Is there anything from council?
No. Could I make one more comment?
Go, Dick.
Joe, before you sit down. I don't know if this is a need or a want, okay, but I've been trying to get those two roundabouts, something done in those two roundabouts that we have. Get your creative people to think of something to do. I was coming out of Franklin, Indiana today on 44, and they got a nice brand-new roundabout out there. And I'm west, not east, not a dinner, I'm west. Really nice little thing in the middle there and concrete around, and on the concrete was service organizations, you know, signs posted on that thing. I thought, that is cool. We don't have anything that really identifies our different service organizations in town coming in. I know we used to have a sign out the fairgrounds out there. I don't know if it's still there or not. It could
There's
be.
one there, and then there's one on 32
But
coming in.
This one on this circle was just really cool. And I know our circles are small, but we need to do something on those circles so that it just takes away from just driving through and breaks it up a little bit. So I'm just saying, get your creative people to think about it.
And as coincidental as it sounds, I was scrolling through my phone, I was going to walk up and show you a picture that I recently took from Danville. Their gateways, I almost texted it to you to be able to say, because I know we had Raymond Schneider Associates looking at, along with Signworks, being able to have, there it is right there. Let me walk it. I almost texted this to you.
Yeah, you know,
Out in the overhead, I'd like to see it too.
No, on the overhead.
Either one.
If it'll work, I mean, we can always patch your phone down. Just hand it to Keith. Oh, there you go. There you go.
See if I can zoom in a little bit. This is, I mean, we're thinking right along the same lines here, Councilman. This is the town of Danville, and so bringing that in a little bit. Just something tasteful along those lines, that I think is what we had talked about, taking some pictures of Plainfield, Indiana as well. They have the large, and I forget what font that is, whoops.
there's two just east of Noblesville on 38, and they actually went in, they were flat just like ours, and they actually went in and filled them up with dirt like this, and put plantings all over the whole thing. And it was really
Dick, I think we're open to that. I just want to clarify, that becomes a price difference goes up a little
And
bit
it's,
from
and it's
from
one of
paint.
those things that people notice when they come into town.
Some might say those are
Nice
needs.
little community
Some might say those are
you
needs.
have.
Lest I be,
Decide whether it's a
But,
need or want, I don't know.
That's a six-figure price tag, if we can be honest. I mean, we're in the $200,000, if you wanted illuminated, I mean, that type of thing.
Several
So-
$1,000s.
Some of us see it as needs, others don't, and that's just fine to have differences of opinion, but I'd be happy to reengage and do that. I'd be all about it. I'm on board 100%. I'm with you.
lest I be branded a troglodyte, I'm all for marketing and branding, and something like that would be more marketing and branding, which is why of
That's a
murals, this one is a marketing branding thing, so.
The marketing branding is needed. Needed? Okay.
Joe, did you have any fruit on that contact for IUPUI that I gave you a few months ago?
Yeah, and this is separate from my Board of Works report, but absolutely, we're moving forward with the Lebanon, Indiana Cultural District and Cultural Trail. And so recently, just actually today, as coincidence would have it, was talking with our liaison, Paige Sharp, with the Indiana Arts Commission, being able to incorporate some of that information to be able to move our creation of a cultural district and cultural trail forward within our community. And so we're taking steps. We're moving along that football field closer to the goal line. So looking forward to keep on moving that football forward. But thank you for that connection.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. All right, any general public comment this time? Okay, we'll move on to claims then, and entertain a motion concerning the claims.
Pay the claims?
We have a motion to pay the claims. Is there a second? Second from Morris. All those say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Claims are approved. And any announcements or discussion from council?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from John. All those say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, our next city council meeting will be Monday, August 8th at 7:15 PM. We are adjourned.
Thank you.